Dear Co-President, dear Under-Secretary of State, on behalf of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, dear friends, being a platform among oceans, continents, cultures, civilizations, Portugal and Kenya altogether did their best to make out of this conference a successful one. I must congratulate and at the same time thank President Kenyatta and his government, Prime Minister Antonio Costa and his government. And we must thank all of us, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, for his excellent, determined and generous role for almost 6 years fighting for multilateralism on climate and on the oceans. This time, we achieved an unanimous declaration, our ocean, our future, our responsibility. And we must thank also, again, Grenada and Denmark, but all the delegations. We were here, 159 countries, 26 heads of state and government, 3,955 delegates, 200 stakeholders, 500 journalists. And we got the lesson that in the future we need more time and space for interactive dialogues and fora for young people, women, NGO, universities, research centers, other stakeholders, specialists. We started with the Youth and Innovation Forum. And we received so many proposals from the younger generations, some of them being in the declaration. In our future, we shall have to pay even more attention to those generations. Without them, we shall lose the future and the present. Here in Lisbon, the word of this conference was action. Action. Peter Thompson recalled us every day of it. Because time is running against us. Action in the unique role of those states that are more affected by the oceans, the erosion of their coasts. Action in the fulfillment of so many promises made here by almost every state, both in the plenary and in the interactive dialogues. Action in science technology. Action in mapping, oceanic mapping. Action in the implementation, effective implementation of the treaty against the pollution blessed by the plastics, but also in the future, the pollution through organic and pharmaceutical substances. Action strengthening the control, digital control and satellite control of the oceans. Action improving maritime security. Action in financing, and so many billions were spoken here. Effective financing of the protection of ecosystems, fundamentals for the biodiversity and carbon capture. Action enlarging the number of states that have promised to protect 30% of marine areas before some of them, others till 2030. Action with UNESCO around the Ocean Decade Alliance. Action to conclude the binding treaty on the protection of biodiversity. Action to accelerate the future treaty on high sea. Action to integrate the oceans in the global vision of the water cycle. Action in the role of local and regional powers. Action when fighting against inequalities all over the world, because they also are destroying the oceans. Action to have a COP27 November in Egypt as a sum up of things done and not a repetition of just intentions. Action allowing the next conference in 2025. Thank you, Costa Rica. Thank you, France. As the end of a cycle of action and the beginning of another cycle of action still more ambitious. Excellencies, dear friends, we wanted, together with Kenya, to make from this conference, at a time of pandemic and war, a sign of peace. Peace with nature and peace among people. A symbol of multilateralism in the phases of temptation of unilateralism. A moment of mobilization and not of contemplation. And we think, at the bottom of our hearts, that in such a difficult moment, lived throughout the world, we did it. The expectations were lower than the outcome. The single fact of having this declaration is a sign of the spirit of the United Nations. But we want more. We want more ambition, more action, more youth, more passion. As I recalled in Brest, life is worth living with passion. Climate action is worth living with passion. Fight for the oceans is worth living with passion. This conference will be known through the title of the unanimous declaration, Our Oceans, Our Future, Our Responsibility. We could add our passion. Our oceans, our passion, our future, our responsibility. Long live the United Nations and our common spirit. Long live the oceans. Thank you.